Alright, so I'm supposed to have separate videos for team builders and matches, but right now I just don't have the time, and fuck it. So, starting off, Cresselia, Rocky Helmet, largely physically defensive, a lot of Spadef, takes hits from pretty much everything. Spadef, Mega Blastoise, only switch into Volcanion, Ice Beam, I can take Giga Drain from Mega Sceptile, knock it out with Ice Beam, take T-Bolt from Thundy T, knock it out with Ice Beam, etc. Life Orb, Scolipede, General Shitfucker Upper, Gligar, physically defensive, a Violite, only switch into Heracross. Magneton, traps the Scizor. Volt switches around, bar his, 3 immunities, so that kind of blows, but it's there to trap the Scizor, which is a problem. Kieran Black, bigger fucker upper of shit. Also a Nice Dragon. To the game. What's going on, everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our first playoff match of TBU Season 3 versus Skyrander. Go check out his channel in the description below. He is a really cool guy. Very good battler as well. He is the runner-up of last season, so it's going to be very difficult to defeat him. We have beaten him once before this season. Earlier on, we won, it was actually week 2. We were able to win a very close 1-0 victory. It was a very good game, very intense game. If you haven't checked that out already, I encourage you to do so, because like I said, it was a very good game. I have the 30 seconds before this video started of Team Builder, essentially. I didn't go super in-depth on the team, because A, it's very, very similar to the team I brought versus him the first time. Essentially, Kieran Black's item was changed, Mega Blastoise's EV spread was changed, and I think Cresselia's item was changed, and then, everything else is the same. Except maybe I had... No, I'm pretty sure I had Life Orb Scolipede as well then, so... Yeah, pretty much everything is the same, so if you really want, a more in-depth thought process on my team, you can go back to the team builder that I made for Week 2 when we played Sky originally. Like I said, it's an extremely similar team, and I felt like just repeating pretty much the same exact thing would just be kind of a waste. That, and I am a little bit rushed for time, like I said in the video. So, anyway, looking at his team, he's brought his Thundurus, Therian, his Scizor, his Gardevoir, Mega Sceptile, Heracross, and Drapion. So, relatively similar team as last time. I believe he did not have Gardevoir the last time, and he did not have Thundy T. He could have had Gardevoir, I forget, but I'm pretty sure he did not have Thundy T. Regardless. The threat of Thundy T was big enough to the point where I did change my item on Kieran Black. It went from whatever it was in that game, which I believe was Expert Belt, and now it is Assault Vest, because I can take any one hit from it. It is a very big threat. I can take Focus Blast relatively well and just knock it out with the Ice Beam. So yeah, that is really the only change to the team that I made, as well as the other ones that I went over, the item on Cresselia, as well as the EV spread on the Mega Blastoise. So with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this game. Like I said, or I believe I have not said this, the playoffs are single elimination, so if we lose this, we are out of the playoffs. If we win, Sky is eliminated, and we move on to the semifinals. So, I'm going to lead off with my Kieran Black, as he decides to lead with the Drapion. Kieran had a very good lead versus his team. And as you're going to see here, I have nearly max speed, and he goes for the knockoff and outspeeds me, so that tells me he probably has max speed to at least speed tie with my Kieran Black. I'm going to go for the Earth Power to possibly knock it out, but just like last time, he has the Shuka Berry, which is going to pop, but I'm going to do about 50% of its HP, and I will be able to a KO it with another Earth Power. So here, predicting him to want to switch out, I'm actually going to go for an Ice Beam, as he actually sends out his Scizor, which is a little bit unfortunate, because an Earth Power would have done a little bit more, but Ice Beam ends up doing plenty anyway, because I get a crit, which is very nice. So here, I'm going to switch out into my Kieran Black. I don't want to make a ballsy prediction this early on. I'm just going to go out into my Mega Blastoise, and he goes right for the Bullet Punch. Now, the fact that he went right for the Bullet Punch onto my Kieran Black tells me that he's almost certainly Shed Shell on his Scizor, because there's no way he would have gone for Bullet Punch, risked my Magneton coming in, and then he's trapped and I can knock him out with the HP Fire, or can Volt Switch around off of him. Even if he was like Octoberry or something like that, he wouldn't have risked that, because I could have, like I said, I could have broken its Octoberry, nearly knocked it out, or Volt Switched out into something to deal with it, and there's not much he could have done about it. So I'm pretty positive he's Shed Shell here. So regardless, I'm in with my Blastoise. I do have the ability to now Mega Evolve and just go for, I believe, a Skull. Actually, no, I go for the Ice Beam, predicting, his Sceptile to possibly want to come in. Really, Ice Beam hit the majority of his team anyway, so I went for that, predicting one of those things to come in. Sky's a very hyper-offense player, so I feel like I have to play aggressively with him. But regardless, I go for the Ice Beam. It does decent damage to the Heracross, not a ton. Because he switched it in on a potential Scald, I'm thinking he's Guts and not something like Moxie. But regardless, I'm going to go out into my only switch-in I have to this thing, being my Gligar, as he sets him in SD, and I'm thinking, okay, he's probably going to go for the knockoff, do a lot of damage, but oh my god, we're dead. So, I can't lie, I absolutely did not see that coming whatsoever. Even if I did, there's still not much I could have switched into that. Like, I couldn't have gone Cresselia, which could have taken the +2 natural gift, but I didn't want to switch that in on a potential knockoff or something like that, in case he had knockoff over that, and he thought I was setup fodder, which I probably was, even though I could get up rocks and then revenge kill him afterwards, but I couldn't, like, switch in anything to that. Even if I saw the natural gift coming, there's no way I could have possibly switched in anything. So, very good prep on his part. That just straight up kills my Gligar, which really sucks because rocks were going to be huge this game. But regardless, here I'm going to send out my Kyurem Black. Just to get damage off onto this thing. I actually can't OHKO it with anything at this point, and I need damage on it so that Scolipede can possibly sweep his team. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam here as he sends in his Sizzlor. I wasn't trying to overpredict. I could have gone for the HP Fire there to also get damage off, which probably would have been good. But because he predicted he didn't predict last time, I think he's going to predict this time. So I stay in, risk the Bullet Punch, and it pays off because I'm able to call him on his U-turn, trying to gain initiative, and I knock it out with the HP Fire, which is great because Sizzlor was a huge threat to my team. Now he is going to go out into his Mega Sceptile, as I have a relatively safe switch into my Cresselia. I have a lot of Spadef on this thing, I'll be able to take any hit. And even though I don't have Ice Beam on this thing, I can go for a Psychic, do some nice damage, break a possible sub, can possibly T-Wave on the switch or whatever, but anyway here, as you can see, he's just going to go right for the safe Dragon Pulse, which is totally fine by me. I'm able to take that easily. And here he is going to switch out, and I believe I pull a double out into my Kyurem Black here, predicting this to want to come out, as I believe I do nail this prediction very well as well. Let's see, Stan, of course, like everything, yes, okay, so I do call this prediction properly. So after that natural gift play, I realized I was a little bit behind. I was like, alright, let's start getting good right now. So I'm going to send out my Kyurem Black, like I said, and he's going to go for the Earth Power, and I can just knock him out with the Ice Beam. I know, based on the damage that a Shuka Berry Earth Power did to this thing, Ice Beam will be able to knock it out, so that's really nice, being able to get rid of his Drapion. Here he is going to send in his Mega Sceptile, and I don't have too much more use for this thing. It's not doing much to the rest of his team, like everything outspeeds me and knocks me out, so I'm just going to sack it to the Dragon Pulse, and then send out my Scolipede here. And he's going to go for the Dragon Pulse. This I thought was kind of a 50-50, because he had sub on his Mega Sceptile the last time we played, and I didn't want him to go for sub as I went for a Protect, because then I have to take the Dragon Pulse and 2 Life Orb hits. If I go right up for the Poison Jab, and he goes for the sub, I only have to take 2 Life Orb hits, and then we're fine. Like, that's fine. I don't mind taking the 2 Life Orb hits. But unfortunately, I get that 50-50 wrong, as he goes right for the Dragon Pulse. And thankfully I will be able to knock him out with Poison Jab, but he has done a ton of damage to one of my biggest win conditions, and that is really unfortunate to me. Also, as it's going to be seen here, losing the 50-50 didn't matter, because I didn't have Speed Boost on this Scolipede. I fucked up, and I accidentally made the Scolipede Poison Point, not my Jenner's fault at all. Juan Gito Marvel, thank you very much for jetting my team. I'm sorry I'm stupid and sent you a full team on. So because I didn't have Speed Boost, it didn't matter whether or not I won that 50-50 or not. I'm not even sure if he had subs, so it might not have even been a 50-50 for him, though it was for me. But regardless, he's going to go out and do his Heracross. I still have speed this, thankfully, and I'm able to get off some very nice Poison Jab damage, almost knock it out. I bring it down to like 1 HP, which I believe at that point that was like a max roll, because the calc was showing me I did about that at max. But regardless, he's going to go for the Earthquake. Obviously it doesn't work. And here, this is another important part in the match. So as you can see, he withdraws. I'm fully aware that he has Stun DT in the back, and I'm fully aware that that could be like a double dance Stun DT, or just like a nasty flop Stun DT, or something like that. So I'm thinking his best overall play would just be to sack this Heracross to a Flash Cannon, go out into Stun DT, and start setting up. Because the way he's preserved it, I don't think it's going to be Scarfed. I feel like the way he's preserved it, he's been waiting for his opportunity to set up. And I was thinking, okay, he's gonna sack his Heracross to the Flash Cannon to get a free switch into the Stun DT so that he can start setting up. But no, I guess this may be considered a 50-50, I'm not entirely sure. My plan was to go for Volt Switch, go into my Blastoise, bait out the Stun DT, and then knock it out with the Ice Beam. Or at least get it heavily weakened so that Flash Cannon could possibly win the game. Because like I said, my Blastoise is nearly fully Spadef. I can take any hit from this thing. So that was the plan, to just bait out his Thunder T. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. He hard switches into it on my Magneton, and he will be able to pretty much just set up and sweep me at this point. Unless he misses enough Focus Blasts on my Magneton, it is game over, and he doesn't even have to risk Focus Blast versus that necessarily. So I'm going to go for the Psychic. Does a decent chunklet of damage, but he's also leftovers and has a decent amount of bulk investment. He will be able to 2-hit KO my Cresselia easily, so Cresselia is going to go down, and now... oops, sorry. And now, the only chance I have is, like I said, if he goes for Focus Blast and repeatedly just keeps missing it. So I'm going to go out into my Scarf Magneton. I will be able to outspeed and go for the Flash Cannon, but this is not going to be able to do enough damage to knock him out, and not even close, and he's going to go for the Focus Blast, and that is easily going to knock out my Magneton. That probably killed like 8 Magnetons in a row there, so that is unfortunate. Now, the only mon I have left is my Mega Blastoise, and even though I am Voice Spadef, plus 2 Thunder T is nothing to mess with, and he will easily be able to knock me out from full, which is about where I am. So as you can see, he's going to go for the T-Bolt, and he is just going to knock me clean out. So that was a great game, Skyrander. He played that pretty much perfectly, I think. I don't think in this game there was much else I could have done to possibly give myself a chance at winning. The only thing I could have done differently was not screw up my Scalipede and then go for the Protect versus the Sceptile, so I have this to offensively check things like the Thundurus and the Gardevoir and the Heracross as well. So that would have been really good, but unfortunately that is not how it went down. So we end up losing 3-0 to Skyrander, and we lose our playoff, or we do not get to continue in the playoffs. Instead, it will be Skyrander versus whoever wins versus Riz and Eric. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys very much for supporting this season of the TBU. It was a lot of fun. Definitely thank you for Frito and everyone else who allowed me to enter the TBU. It was a great season. We finished out very well in the regular season. Of course, it didn't work out too well in the playoffs, but, you know, I can't blame myself for that. The Natural Gift Heracross was perfect. I feel like I played well in this game. The Kyurem Black prediction, as well as the double into Kyurem on the Drapion switch-in, I think I did relatively well. Maybe should have did a little bit of different prep, maybe been a little bit less predictable, but regardless, this was an incredible game anyway. Sky, you absolutely deserve to move on, so congratulations. And that is all I have to say. Like I said, thank you guys for supporting the TBU throughout the season, and have a nice day.